For this tutorial, I used an old game that I used to play on the Atari called Space Invaders. So what we're going to do is try to build a video game similar to this. Not exactly, but this was my inspiration for this tutorial. So to get started, I'm going to create a blank project, and I'm going to add an emoji for my Space Invaders. And I'm going to select the emojis which are found underneath the bell, I believe. Yes, there's my little Space Invader guy, and I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to drag him or her up into the upper left hand corner and add a new rule. What I want to have happen is for that Space Invader to move across the screen horizontally, otherwise known as the x-axis. So what I'm going to do is hit, when the play button is tapped, change x by, and then I'm going to do 1,000. At the end of the screen, I want it to go down, so that's going to be change y by, and I'm going to say -20. And then I want it to go back horizontally across the x-axis, so I'm going to add another change x by, only this time it's going to be moving to the left, so I need a -1,000. So let's just see how that looks so far. Okay, Space Invader's going a little bit fast, so I'm going to go to Edit and do a set speed at the very top, and I think I'll start with 100 to see how that looks. Okay, I like how that looks. Actually, I think I want the Space Invader to look just a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go to Edit and go down to Looks and Sounds, and I'm going to say Grow by 100%. One more time to see how that looks. That's how I want it to look. Okay, so if I want to have multiple Space Invaders, I don't want to have to add those commands each time I add a new character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go up to the very top where it says My Abilities, and I'm going to tap on the plus sign to make a new ability for Invader. And then hit Create. I'm going to tap on that ability and then drag the speed inside of there, the change x by, the change y by, and the change x by. But the way it is right now is that the Space Invader will simply go across the screen, down, and then back. I want to have that repeat several times, so I'm going to go to Control Flow and drag a repeat. Notice that just defaults to the bottom of my program there, so I'm going to drag it inside of my Invader ability and then drag these little commands in there. So when it's all said and done, it should look like this, and we can tweak the repeat number of times after we see how it looks. So when I hit play, looks good. It's going to repeat going across the screen and then moving down and then coming back across the screen. Hopefully it'll go down again and back across. Oh, it didn't. So one more tweak to that code. Let's go to Edit. And at the bottom of change x by -1,000, we need one more change y by, and we'll do another -20. And the beauty of having this all contained in one ability called Invader is that we can close out of these items, add a new Space Invader, and position it on the screen, and then give it a new rule when the play button is tapped. Remember, I had it grow a little bit, so I'll say 100%. And then all I have to do is tap Invader and it's done. I'll show that one more time. When I go to the plus sign, text, add a new Space Invader, done. Drag it where I want it on the screen there. Add a new rule. When the play button is tapped, I can grow it by 100%, and then Invader. Now when I hit play, all 3 Space Invaders should move across the screen, go down, come back, and this process is repeated 5 times because that's what I set my ability for. You can tweak it your own way, but this should get you started on how to add multiple invaders to your screen. So now we're ready for the next step, which is to add our person or firing thing at the bottom. So I'm just going to go here to Edit and X out of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my arrow keys. Again, those are emojis that you can find on your emoji keyboard. And I will have my left arrow, and I'm going to add a right arrow, and then I will add my up arrow. Again, you can tweak this however you want. I'm going to then add one more character. You can get creative with this and choose whatever you want, but I'm going to use a vertical line right here and hit done, and this is what's going to be firing at my Space Invaders. So I'm going to drag it to the bottom here, and what I want to have happen is that line to fire at the invaders and then have those Space Invaders disappear as that hits it. So what I need to do is program that vertical line to move. So I'm going to add a new rule first that says when blank is tapped. So when my up arrow is tapped, I want that line to move upward. And in math terms, that's the y-axis. So I'm going to go to Movement and go to Change Y by 800. So let me go ahead and hit play there. Tap my line there and it goes to the top. The problem is that I want to be able to fire multiple times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit. There's probably several ways to do this, but this is the way that I figured out. I'm going to go to Looks and Sounds and make that line invisible 100%, set invisibility to 100%, and then change Y by -800 so that it comes back down to the bottom, and then I will make it reappear by setting the invisibility to 0. So now let's see how that looks. When I hit play, my up arrow allows it to fire, and then it shows back up again, and I can continually fire that. Now I want to have it so that when it hits one of the Space Invaders is that it disappears. So I'm going to go to Edit and close out of this, and I'm going to give my line a new rule that says when blank bumps blank. So when my line touches my first invader, I will actually want to do it the reverse order. So this is what happens when you program. You make mistakes or you think things through. I'm going to close out of this and actually get rid of that rule for my line. So delete forever. I want to have the Space Invader disappear. So I'm going to give it a rule. So tap on the first Space Invader there and then add a new rule that says when blank bumps blank. So when the first Space Invader bumps the line, check mark, set invisibility to 100%. We'll do that again with our second Space Invader. Add a new rule that says when blank bumps blank, so when our second Space Invader bumps the line, we'll have that set the invisibility to 100%. And finally, we're going to add a new rule to our third Space Invader that says when blank bumps blank, when the alien Invader bumps the line, we are going to have it disappear as well. When I hit play, let's just test this out. I'll try to get them back around the second time. Oh, got 2 of them on that one. And let's see if I can get this last one here. Oh, just missed it. The only thing I'm missing now are my right and left arrow keys. I suppose that's an option if you don't want to have your ability to move your firing left and right. But what you can do is, there we go to Edit, and you might think you need to program the arrows, but you're actually programming the firing device to move left and right. So we already have it programmed that when the up arrow is tapped to move up. So we're going to add a new rule that says when blank is tapped, this time we'll use the right arrow. When the right arrow is tapped, I want it to move on the x-axis horizontally. So that would be, let's just say 50. We can always tweak that number later. And we want to add a third rule that says when blank is tapped, your left arrow, you want it to move on the x-axis horizontally, but to the left is negative numbers, so I will change x by a negative 50. Again, make sure that your target, or your firing device is the one that has the rules, not the arrows. So let's just see how that looks now. I can move to the left and to the right and then fire. And there we go. So hopefully that gives you the instructions on how to get started with a Space Invaders type of a game. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you create.